for how long Austin was carrying in the Rock, for how long they carry the Attitude Era?
Like 4 years.
4 years. People remember the Attitude Era like the biggest shit. No, it
Mm.
was not that big. I mean, it was only for 3 or 4 years
Oh,
that
oh,
it was
oh,
not that.
oh,
You
buddy.
know,
Alrighty now, Robbie.
This is going a lot of different directions right
Yes,
now. This is just
Robbie.
spiraling so
Wait a
quick.
minute. Hold on.
Nova, Nova.
First
Did
on,
you actually watch? Did you actually watch like the Attitude Era, like when it was happening?
Robbie. Let me ask you something. Let me do the interviewing here. All right, I'm
Uh,
hijacking your show. Okay.
I asked the questions here.
What's your favorite era of televised wrestling?
well, of course, it's the Attitude Era and the Ruthless Aggression Era. There's,
Okay.
I would
What?
say, tied.
Okay. What made the Attitude Era so good?
Well, the Attitude Era because that was the first time that they went up, went away the cartoonish type of wrestlers, and now that you are more into the in your face type of wrestling.
Okay. Okay. Now,
But
actually, whoa, wait, whoa, hold on, Bucko.
uh,
What is your favorite match of the Attitude Era? Is there a favorite match you have or a favorite moment you can? When you think of Attitude Era?
that's what I'm saying. That's the point of what I was going. The matches during the Attitude Era were crap. There was no match that I can think about because let's put this way. Let's put this way.
What are you right on?
Austin. After Austin was a great performer. Like give the mic, and he will get got the greatest promo. How was their matches? Blow kick, Irish whip, clothesline,
How
maybe
was
a
the fans'
backdrop.
Hang on,
reaction?
but
How is the fans' reaction to that?
It was
okay,
a pop.
okay. So,
It was
oh
a
my.
pop.
So here's the thing. You say that their matches were really basic. What was Hulk Hogan?
It was
A big boot and a leg drop, and that was the definition of an amazing match back then. But the thing is, there's a difference when when I think of the two different eras. I don't think of it like which one was better. I think that the Hulk Hogan era was more historic wrestling era.
Mm.
And then when it comes to the Attitude Era, that's more of like a fan favorite era
it's a
because
pop culture
there's
thing.
it is a pop culture thing, but at the same time, that's when wrestling started to become more mainstream. Because
Mm.
back then, it was like Hulk Hogan era. Everybody's gimmick was a real life job, essentially, for the most part. There was a lot of guys like Big Boss Man. He was a police officer. Like you think of guys like that. Like there, a lot of the guys just had zero depth whatsoever to their characters. The only ones that did were the top guys who cut the promos that forced that kind of depth. It wasn't there. It wasn't kind of given with this kind of character that they had. When you cut over to the Attitude Era, there was more characters that had a lot more depth to it. There was long running, really crazy, overarching stories that people were able to catch from beginning to end, and it kept their attention. And so then, but when it got to
Because
those
it was a
big
soap
blow off matches,
opera. Because it was a soap opera type of storyline, and that works. Yes, of course that works. But when we talk about, and we're basically deterring a whole lot of what was my point here. Um, but wrestling maybe is, as I was saying, is maybe half or 60% of the whole thing because The Rock as a wrestler, I'm talking about the purest, like the wrestling part, like going in a match. Was his matches like a wrestling clinic? No. I mean, I prefer watching a match of the Chris Benoit or a match of Malenko or watch a match of Guerrero. Those were wrestling clinics. And watching a match of The Rock, you know what was about to happen with The Rock. The Rock was he will start the match. He will be taking the heat most of the match. Then he's going to smack talk to the person. At one point, he's going to do the three blows. He's going to spit on his face, on his hand. He's going to give you the ultimate blow. Then it's going to come the spine buster, people's elbow, and then rock bottom. That was the match.
yeah, but the thing is, I think that also attributes to like going back to how over he was, because the thing is, you can almost kind of correlate. There's like a chart that it's like the amount of technical in-ring work that somebody had to do to be over with their character work. So The Rock had exponential amounts of character work to the point where what he did in the ring, less was more. Where to the point where you had, like you said, you had like a Chris Benoit, for example, who there wasn't a whole lot of depth to the character. There was just more of like this tough badass who was, and that was his thing. He was the Wolverine. He was tough as hell. So you have this guy who's out there and he is taking beatings, but he's also leashing it back with technicality, with brutal strikes, putting everything on the line to win the match. And that's what got him over. The Rock was
Exactly.
his promos. The Rock was his mic work. So I think that's where it kind of separates the two. And like, especially like I think of like even like later on when you go into like what I was thinking of is like the guys that you think who are icons in the industry were the guys who had such deep characters, but then in the ring less was more.